Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I have a process video for you guys as I work through the Storyteller devotional kit from Illustrated Faith. I am just starting out on the prologue section, the first devotional in here, and I'm going to be journaling the second prompt that Janet has for us in Isaiah 46, 9 through 11, and she's prompting us to take a piece of paper, write down all of our upcoming plans, dreams, all the yearnings of our hearts, and then she says to crumple it up, throw it away, and declare that God is the author of our life and that we are fully surrendering those hopes and dreams over to Him. I will not be crumpling it up. I'm actually going to use it as a part of documenting on this Bible journaling entry. But I did really quick want to show you something that I created. I'm not sure that I'm going to do a Tip Tuesday because this was inspired by Bethany. She's Southern Couture here on YouTube and her Etsy shop and all that goodness. She had a video recently, I will link it down below, where she made little sticker booklets out of the new collections from Illustrated Faith and Dayspring. So I cut mine down to Traveler's Notebook size and made my own little booklets from her process video. If you want to see that, again, I'll link it down below. But I decided to use that as inspiration for a way to organize my kit supplies as well. So I kind of took that idea and added a little bit more to it so that way I can store all of my die cut pieces together for this kit. I made a little pocket where I can stick the clear stickers, more of the die cut pieces. I have the Traveler's Notebook stickers, and then I created this little flap where I could put alphabet stickers and another pocket for alphabet stickers. So you can use the plastic packaging that she does in her video. You can use those clear stickers. Here's some right here from the Target Dollar Spot, these adhesive label pockets. I've used those before. For this one, I just used some clear transparency sheets. I don't know that I'm going to do a process video. Like I said, she already has a process video and I just use that as inspiration. But I thought that this was a great idea for storing all of your kits. This would work for any devotional kit that you're working through. This is a great way to kind of break up the supplies and keep them all stored in one place so it's easy to see, easy to reach for, and keep them all together. So that is what this is here. And then I've already gone ahead and done some prep ahead of time for this page. I went ahead and did some paper piecing with the stamp set from the kit. I do have a Tip Tuesday showing how I did this, so I will link that down below because I'm not going to show that in today's video. This is something that I already did ahead of time using some papers from the Maggie Holmes Willow Lane collection, but you can use whatever you have in your stash. You can use the digital papers that the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray shop has and all that goodness. So that video will be linked down below. I pulled out some alpha stickers from my stash and just kind of used a random collection of them. I have some flowers that I just stamped on white cardstock and fussy cut out. These ones are from this floral Maggie Holmes stamp set that I found at Tuesday Mornings. I don't know that I would recommend these. They're really crummy quality stamps, but you can use any floral stamp that you have in your stash, and I just pre-cut those out. A great idea is to stamp a bunch of these and cut them out all ahead of time and then keep them in a drawer or container or a pocket in a notebook like this, and then have them to embellish and add on to things. I'm going to be using one of the manila folders that comes in the kit. I have a couple of the die cut pieces. I've already gone ahead and typed out my journaling from the prompt, and then I have some inks and washi tapes and all that goodness. Again, everything will be linked down below for you guys, but that's kind of what I pulled together for this entry. So let me go ahead and put you on fast forward and we will get this put together. Okay, so I've gone ahead and put a Bible mat behind my page, and I'm going to work on the background with this stencil. Now, this stencil came with one of the Revival Camp kits, but they do have the stencil for sale by itself in the Illustrated Faith shop. So I went ahead and linked that down below for you guys. And I'm just using a cheap makeup brush to blend some pine needles Distress Oxide ink through this stencil. This is one of my favorite ways to use stencils is with a makeup brush and ink like this. It's a really quick and easy way to get it through the stencil without having it like bleed through your page, bleed under the stencil. It's just nice and soft, and you can kind of control the intensity, and it's easy cleanup. I just use a baby wipe to wipe off my brush and wipe off my stencil, and I'm good to go. So there's a look at that background. Now, one thing I like to do with stencils, stenciling can be a little I don't know, it can be a little plain and boring sometimes when you just lay down, color through a stencil. So I like to go back in and add details. Here I'm using a white gel pen just to add some little sketchy lines or outlines around those diamonds, but you could use, a black pen and outline. You can add art marks, things like that, just kind of jazz up a stenciled background. So I'm just going to go through. I did go ahead and heat set this off camera before I went in with my gel pen. That way the gel pen didn't, soak up the green and become green instead of white, if that makes sense. Now, this is some washi tape from one of the Maggie Holmes collections. I looked on scrapbook.com. I could not find it. I found this at Tuesday mornings, and so I just had it in my stash, and it had colors that coordinated with the kit. And then I have some Felicity Jane grid washi. This is still available. I went ahead and linked it down below for you guys. This is like one of my favorite grid washis, and so I'm just going to kind of layer that up and give myself kind of an anchoring point down at the bottom here for all of these die cut pieces. Now, I get a lot of questions about how to use scrapbooking supplies in your Bible journaling, and that is something that I do almost all the time, using die cuts and tape and papers and things like that. So I'm taking this manila folder and I went ahead and used 2 tiny staples on either side of it. So now it's more like a pocket rather than a folder, and that way I can stick my journaling down inside of there. I am going to use some strong liquid adhesive to adhere this down just to make sure that it doesn't come off the page, because it is a little bit heavier than some of the other items that I'm putting down here. And then I used one of those vellum stickers from the kit. Now, I've seen lots of people doing this with these typewriters, putting a piece of paper behind there with their title or with their typed out journaling. And so I'm just laying my typewriter over a scrap piece of paper to kind of figure out how wide the paper needs to be. And then I went ahead and cut that out, and then I'm inking it up with some Tattered Rose Distress Oxide ink. That's only because the white of this paper is different from the white of the Bible page and the white of the cardstock stamped flowers that I used, and I didn't want it to be, all these different shades of white. So I just went ahead and blended a little bit of ink on there, and it adds a little more color. I only had a little bit of pink in the alpha stickers there and not really any place else, so that just kind of adds some detail there. So I'm just making sure that that will look okay, and then I can go ahead and start sticking down my letters. Now, I had actually stuck these down on another piece beforehand, and it didn't come out right, so I had to pull them off. And when I pulled them off, it pulled the sticky backing off of them. So I'm just going in and holding it with some tweezers and applying some liquid adhesive to the back of these ones where the adhesive came off. And this is just a variety of thickers from American Crafts, and then there's some in there from Felicity Jane. This is a great way to use up alpha stickers where maybe you don't have many of the letters left, like you can't create, entire words. Mix and match them like this, and it's a great way to use them up and just kind of give some interest to your titles. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some wooden alpha stamps as well. If you have the Illustrated Faith type alpha that came out, you could use that. I just happen to have these on my desk. I'm going to piece those together with the word author from the stamp set. Now, I did look, the physical kit for Storyteller is sold out. You can still get the digital version. You can also get the physical version of just the devotional booklet and the stamp set separate. So you can still get that stamp set if you missed out on the kit in its entirety. You could go ahead and just order the digital version, print things out, and then you could order the stamp set separate, and that should get you by if you missed out on the physical kit. So there's my title, Author of My Life. Now I can go ahead and start kind of piecing things together. I do cover up a little bit of the text down here at the bottom. I'm not too concerned with that just because this is not the Bible that I sit and read and study from. But if that does bother you, you can, scoot things over or just adhere them on one edge so that you can kind of fold them back and see the text. I don't cover the text very often in this Bible, but sometimes it happens. So here you can see that just little pop of black and white florals just add some interest without being colorful so it doesn't look too busy. This is something that Heba from My Little Journal on YouTube, she does a lot of traveler's notebook documenting, and she adds these black and white florals like this to everything, and I love the look of that, so I wanted to incorporate that here on this page. And then here I went ahead and typed out my like journaling, my hopes and dreams, things like that, I did go ahead and kind of lay it out against that folder ahead of time to see how wide it is, and then gave myself some pencil guidelines before I ran it through my typewriter, folded it in half, and then just tucked it into that manila folder. I'm using a paper clip from Felicity Jane just to kind of hold it up just a little bit so that you can see that there is something tucked into there without covering up that trust label that I used. But I don't want it to be, it's more private journaling, so it doesn't need to be, out in the open for everybody to see. I'm using another piece of that grid washi to kind of anchor another sort of title up here. I wanted to incorporate the sections of the devotional in my journaling. And so since the first section is prologue, I'm using the stencil alpha stamp from Illustrated Faith. This is still available. Everything will be linked down below for you guys. And you can see I lay everything out ahead of time. I use the letter C as a placeholder for that second O. That way my spacing would be correct, and then I could just come back in and stamp the O by itself. Added my journaling below there, and I just copied some of the words that Janet had in the devotional that really stuck out to me, and my more intimate prayer journaling is tucked into that folder. I'm going to use another piece of that Maggie Holmes washi, and then layer up some more die cuts from the kit up at the top there. And that is pretty much going to be it for the entry. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. Check out the description box for links to everything that I used today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.